What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to Game Theory, which US president is an epic gamer. AI presidents. Now, I know about the AI presidents. I've not seen a lot of gameplay, though. I've mainly seen all the COD, the COD tier list. Because I'm a COD fan, I want to see which opinions are differentiate from mine about which perks are good and which perks are bad, which one the weapons are good, which aren't. So, yeah. Along with the maps, because, yeah. Honestly, if I made a tier list, it would be completely chaotic. I mean, I would have to consult with other people. I mean, I have some friends that play Call of Duty, so maybe we could do... idea for another time. Anyway. Yeah, here we are. Let's just start this video. The link, if you like this video, hit the like button down below. The link to this video will be down in the description below, so give Game Theory some love and support for the video they made. Subscribe to this channel to support it, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when the video comes out. And if you have videos you would like to recommend or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section down below. Other than that, hope you all enjoy. And let's start.
What was that?
Gee, Sleepy Joe, that's Freddy Fazbear. That sound means he's getting closer to the office.
Why can't we just leave this pizza place? Can't we just get some ice cream?
Because, Joe, that's the whole point of the game. You can't leave. That's what makes it scary.
Guys, can you keep it down? I'm trying to concentrate.
Geez, Matt Pat, you're using a lot of power. You wouldn't last 1 minute playing 2020 mode, which I totally beat on my first try, by the way.
Donald, you're so full of it, you probably died during the night one phone call. But Matt Pat, you should be checking cams more to make sure Foxy stays in Pirates Cove.
Mr. President, you might know about foreign policy, but Five Nights at Freddy's, it's kind of my territory. Sit back, watch how the master does it.
Should have closed that right door. The second...
Wow, you suck at this game.
Seriously.
Good thing you don't have a Let's Play channel.
Oh, dang, that hurts. That's gotta hurt, but... when you hear Freddy laugh, you gotta close that right door. Especially if you can hear it, like, right by the thing, by the door.
Boy, do we have a weird episode for you today. Lately, I've been gorging myself on the latest trend to strike the internet, US presidents playing video games. I don't know if this one's reached your corner of the internet yet, but we now have ourselves videos of Obama, Trump, and Biden getting on a Discord call together to put aside their political differences and just enjoy a round of Minecraft with the boys. Kinda. Obviously, these aren't real presidents checking their KD ratios. Instead, these are creators...
it would be funny, though.
...previous presidents and feeding them into AI text-to-speech software and AI voice filters so they can then make the president say whatever they want him to say. So naturally, the internet did the only logical thing you would do with that power. They turned them into gamers. They've played Mario Party, they've debated Smash tier lists, they've even argued about the FNAF timeline.
Obviously, Elizabeth Afton died before Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Why else would her bedroom be empty? She's dead, Joe.
Donald, that makes zero sense. Just because Elizabeth's bedroom is empty does not mean that she's dead.
This is kind of making me regret not inviting President Biden to our recent live FNAF talkback. Would have loved to hear his thoughts on the recent ID's fantasy video. Anyway, my recommended tab has been filled with...
Oh, that's done? Gotta really check that one.
...pipe hat with this sort of stuff. And personally, I am all about it. And after losing days of my life to binging these videos, naturally that dumb side of my theory brain started to kick into gear. I couldn't help but wonder, what if the real presidents actually played these games? And more importantly, who would actually be the best? And I'm not just talking about the modern three that we see kicking around these videos. I'm talking about all the presidents. All 45 of the past U.S. executives and And for those of you heading to the comments right now to say that Biden is the 46th president, clearly you've forgotten about President Cleveland, who was elected to 2 non-consecutive terms, thereby making him both our 22nd and 24th president. Thus, Biden is only the 45th person to ever be U.S. president. That is the first of many little history nuggets that we'll be exploring in this episode, dear theorists, so let's fire up our time machines, hop onto the Discord with the boys, and whip out those gamer headsets. It's time to inaugurate our first ever gamer-in-chief. So, to start off with, how exactly are we going to settle this one?
Weird, but
All of
okay.
our presidents were born way before the invention of TVs and computers, let alone video games. In fact, only Barack Obama was born after the creation of the first video game, and this is what that one looked like. So, not exactly
Pong?
ground for our potential post players. That being said, the presidents were pretty talented people. I mean, they ascended to the highest office in the land to become leader of the free world. They're obviously gonna be good at some stuff, right? But which of the
Well, gaming comes to logical terms, quick reaction timing, good listening skills, and so on and so forth.
Look through the historical records to see if any of our presidents can fit the mold
So,
of the elitist of gamers.
it'll be interesting to figure that one out.
What actually makes the best gamers. Finally, we're getting ourselves some scientific
Considering that some of
recognition,
them went to
and one of the key
war?
things that's pointed to is raw intelligence. With so many players playing video
Yeah.
games these days, there's a collective desire to find out the most elaborate and efficient strategies. That means that the amount of information you have to juggle at once is higher than ever before. I mean, feels like you kind of need a PhD in Pokemon battling just to be able to play versus battles online, let alone competing in real-life tournaments.
I gave my Screamtail
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
and then I invested enough defense to allow it to survive Adamant Life Orb Max Attack King Gambit Ironhead, which is a very powerful, super effective attack.
Were those even words? Whatever they were, a study at the University of York
Yeah,
showing a strong correlation between players who were best at MOBA games like League of Legends and Dota 2 and how they performed on IQ tests, with the most skilled players having the highest IQ scores. So if the top gamers are the ones with the highest IQs, which of our American presidents is ready to pull off those brain plays? Enter Keith Simonton, a professor out of UC Davis who published a study back in 2006 in the Journal of Political Psychology where he attempted to calculate the IQ and other traits of all the presidents, from George Washington to George W. Bush. He did this by analyzing their speeches and other public records. It's not like he could go out and give Millard Fillmore an IQ test or anything. Some of the presidents that occupied his top spots probably aren't too surprising. You've got Thomas Jefferson, writer of the Declaration of Independence, John F.
True.
Kennedy, who was able to read 1,200 words per minute, which is 5 times the human average, and
I didn't know that.
a president that none
Freaking
of us
amazing.
remember, but who had himself a pretty solid memory considering he memorized his entire 3,300 word inaugural address by heart. To give you some context, a typical game
Damn.
is about 3,500 words. So this guy has got Rosalina is Peach's daughter theory on lock. All that being said, though, standing alone at the top of the IQ leaderboard with a skull-shattering IQ of 100.
How long is that video?
It's our 6th president, John Quincy Adams. 175 IQ higher than one of the most notable smart men in history, Mr. Albert Einstein. So, you know, if you put JQA into the MOBA arena, he's gonna stomp on the competition. But obviously, IQ isn't the be-all, end-all here. The study even acknowledges this. While players with the highest IQ scores were the best at MOBAs like League of Legends and Dota, there wasn't a strong correlation between intellect and more action-based games like first-person shooters. While MOBAs rely on memory and strategic decisions, first-person shooters have a focus on speed and target accuracy. And if our gamer president is gonna
gotta have
entire gaming scene,
ridiculous
and knowing that one
reaction timing and memorizing and having the best gear and the best freaking luck for these games.
reaction times between 300 and 500 milliseconds. But professional gamers, the top echelon of the gaming world, they have themselves some superhuman reflexes. They top out with reaction times under 200 milliseconds. That tenth of a second difference there is literally the blink of an eye. It might not sound like much, that gap can end up being the difference between getting the clutch kill and getting demoted to Silver 5 in Overwatch again. Now, we've talked on this channel before about how age can affect your reaction time.
Yeah.
Has been done that shows your reaction times peak in your early to mid-20s and then starts to slowly drop off as you get older. Considering you can't even become president until you're 35, it means that all of our options are outside of their prime. Younger presidents like Teddy Roosevelt, JFK, and Bill Clinton might have a better shot, but none of them are going to be ideal. So, do we have any other evidence of presidents demonstrating S-tier reaction times? I mean, I guess there was that one time that George W. Bush dodged not just one, but 2 shoes that were thrown at him by an Iraqi journalist during a speech in 2008. That was pretty impressive. Not only did he dodge attacks from the local Foot Locker, he then had the gamer instincts to identify their size.
If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
That being said, if you're looking for something
Damn.
a little more legitimate than dodging some Air Jordans, then
That
call for
is pretty impressive.
Daddy. to be specific. George H.W. was a pilot during World War II, flying a General Motors TBM Avenger during the war, a plane that could reach speeds of 276 miles per hour or 123 meters a second. In that blink of an eye, 100 milliseconds, he'd have traveled 40 feet, 12 meters. That's the length of a full-sized school bus, which could be fatal if he doesn't react fast enough. But he managed to fly over 58 combat missions, including earning the Distinguished Flying Cross after surviving a dangerous mission that left most of the other pilots that went out dead. All in all, it means that once Happy Bush gets a hold of that controller, there's no stopping him. But if I had to bet $20 on which president would be the best when it came to reaction time, well, I'd bet on Mr. 20 himself, bloody Andrew Jackson. Because what's faster than a speeding plane? A speeding bullet. Jackson was never too afraid to line up against anyone who crossed him in a good old-fashioned duel. Now, these aren't the quick draws that you see in old Western movies, but instead tended to follow either British or French rules. Opponents would either stand opposite each other, guns pointed, and then fire when the signal was given, or they would stand back to back and take a set amount of paces before turning and firing. A la Hamilton, or more recently,
Damn.
John Wick 4. Regardless, both required you to be
It was a
to
great movie.
also have an incredible accuracy. Now, we don't know
The ending was a bit shaky, but
Jackson participated in, but some estimates suggest that he's
not like
over 100, which means
the
that his
last
reaction time
part of the
was
film, like
spot on.
the ending.
Video games aren't just about hitting the buttons the quickest. Daphne Vavelier,
At least that's my opinion on that subject.
University of Rochester, showed that gamers perform significantly better tests of attention, speed, accuracy, vision, and most importantly of all, multitasking when compared to
Camel task.
Games nowadays are demanding more and more of our attentional resources and requiring us to split it amongst various different
Well, not
tasks and
so
objectives.
much.
Long gone are the Atari days where you just had a little triangle shooting asteroids. Whether it's analyzing your opponent's moves in Smash or juggling 50 different animatronic attack patterns in Custom Night, a true gamer needs to be able to manage.
Oh, I would never do that.
So who
I
among
would
our
suck.
presidential players has demonstrated some high-level multitasking abilities? Well, there's always President Lyndon Johnson, who used to have meetings while sitting on the toilet with the door open in front of his staff. I guess that's a type of multitasking. All of these men are just the worst, aren't they? There are also other more normal examples, like John F. Kennedy, who would draw little sailboats during intense meetings, which is a little concerning to think about. Like, was he doodling catamarans during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Although I guess he got the job done, so we can't really fault him on that one. But it's one thing to be able to do two tasks that involve different areas of the brain. It's another to be able to do two tasks that involve the same part of the brain, which is exactly what Bill Clinton would do. He would have himself some serious political conversations with advisors while also solving the New York Times crossword puzzle. I mean, it's pretty hard to do two things that both require language processing. The wires are going to get easily crossed, which thereby makes what Billy C did that much more impressive. In a video game, Clinton would be able to take in everything that's going on, but still have the brain power to start trash talking the competition. And speaking of, I think we can all agree, even if science doesn't reflect it, trash talk, an essential part of that gamer experience.
And Reggie, for being the president of Nintendo, you suck at Smash Bros.
So I spend 16 hours a day running a company. You spend 16 hours a day playing Smash. So
if presidents of Nintendo need to trash talk to be the best, well then presidents of America need to do the same. And let's be honest with ourselves, most presidential campaigns at this point are just chances for them to trash talk each other.
You mentioned the Navy, for example, and that we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military's changed.
I have as much experience in the Congress as Jack Kennedy did.
I served with Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
And when it comes to the absolute king of trash talk, there's no one to choose but William Henry Harrison. During the election of 1840, Harrison and his VP pick, Tyler, were running to unseat President Martin Van Buren. Harrison's campaign released a 12-verse diss track that, let me just play you a little clip of it.
Oh, oh, damn.
Yeah, this guy was dropping bars way before Lin-Manuel Miranda. No surprise, with sick beats like that, they did end up beating little Van Buren, and then Harrison died a month into office after catching pneumonia. But hey, now at least he can be remembered for more than just short tenure in office. Outside of trash talk, there's also some other oddball skills here. Herbert Hoover, today mostly known for his botched response to the Great Depression and the Hoover Dam, was the original Minecraft streamer. I mean, prior to being president, he got rich as a mining scout and engineer. Just had a sixth sense for finding gold. This man would have had a full enchanted gold armor set before you put down your first crafting table. And the last thing that I gotta call out here is that no matter how good you are as a gamer, eventually you're gonna fail. But what's important is having the determination to get back up. And there's one president I think demonstrates this better than anyone, because he literally got back up after being shot. On October 14th, 1912, while campaigning to become president, Teddy Roosevelt was shot while giving a speech. The bullet went through his glasses case, his 50-page speech, and then lodged itself in his chest. Not only did he survive, he was like, yeah, I suppose I'm not coughing up blood or anything, so I'm probably okay. And he went on to finish the dang speech. If that's not gamer determination, I don't know what is. The problem is, all these fun facts and pieces of scientific research are interesting, but I still feel no closer to figuring out the answer. There isn't really a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to finding our best gamer president. There are some
really
skills that maybe
really
one
isn't.
gamer or another, but no one's truly the best at all of them. So maybe I've been looking at the question all wrong. Maybe the gamer president isn't the best in a single category, but is consistently good across all of the board, with the most well-rounded stats across all the things that we just talked about. And during my research, there was one guy that absolutely fit the bill. The gamer energy runs deep with this one. It runs so deep that his great-grandson is actually the inventor of Magic the Gathering, the OG trading card game. The undisputed ultimate gamer president would have to be, drumroll please, President Garfield. No, not that one. James Garfield, the 20th President of the United States. But yeah, even his name is a meme. Fun fact, by the way, the lasagna-loving feline came afterwards, actually named after the creator's grandfather, who himself was named after President Garfield. Now, not only is this man rocking out the game weird, James Garfield was smart. Like, really smart. Boasting around 150 IQ, ranking him in the top 10 of presidents, and also puts him on par with inventor Thomas Edison. Sure, it's not Einstein levels, but that's still pretty dang solid. Plus, he proved his nerdiness beyond just raw IQ. During Garfield's 9 terms in Congress, he developed a proof of the Pythagorean theorem using trapezoids. This wasn't just a fun little back-of-the-napkin calculation either. He had it published in the New England Journal of Education, and he did it while shooting the breeze with his colleagues in the congressional cafeteria. Intelligence, my name is Garfield. He was also quadrilingual, able to speak English, German, Greek, and Latin. And it gets even cooler than that. He was ambidextrous, meaning that he was
I don't know a lot of people that speak Greek, so but it is pretty
to give him a question that he'd then write his answer to in Latin with one hand and in Greek with the other hand at the same time.
Okay, that's freaking broken.
Hand-eye coordination and multitasking, I don't know what is. His reaction times also weren't something to be overlooked. He, like many of our presidents, served in the military during part of his life and actually fought in a few high-powered battles during the American Civil War.
Barely write with my other hand.
The fact that he not only helped win the Battle of Shiloh, the bloodiest of the war, but also walked away completely uninjured shows that he must have had some level of skill when it came to firing his own weapon and avoiding others. Or, you know, maybe just hid in the corner and camped the whole time, which again, that's a very valid gamer skill that works for a lot of people. But to top it all off, there are 2 things about Garfield that I'm sure a lot of you hashtag gamers out there can relate to. Well, he was certainly born before the invention of the video game. He was not unfamiliar with late-night gaming sessions. Turns out he was an avid chess player, and it was said that the president, quote, enjoyed the game to the utmost, but had to deny himself even this pleasure when it repeatedly carried him into late hours of the night. If Doritos and Mountain Dew had been invented for this guy, I'm sure he would have been chowing down on those too like a true gamer. Secondly, he proved himself to have an ability to win in unconventional ways. Sometimes he wasn't even trying to. Case in point, the way he actually became president. During the election of 1880, Garfield, then a lowly congressman cranking out mathematical proofs, went to the Republican National Convention to give a speech in support of fellow Ohioan and Secretary of State John Sherman. However, the party couldn't find a majority consensus between Sherman, former President Ulysses S. Grant, and Senator James Blaine of Maine. The party did 35 rounds of voting before they decided on a compromise, picking Garfield, who wasn't even running. Garfield just straight up Among Us'd his way into the White House. Kinda sus if you ask me, but hey,
damn.
A win is a win. So there you have it, friendos. President James Garfield.
You gotta have some skill just to be voted, even though you're not being considered to be president.
Before we send you in to destroy Biden, Trump, and Obama in their next match at Tetris, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of gamer and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Internet memes. Wait, Garfield doesn't have himself an AI voice synthesis? Get on that, boys! This man demands your respect. All hail to the chief, the Master Chief. But hey...
Matt Pat, why didn't I get a mention?
Because you're not a winner, Joe.
Then why wasn't I mentioned? I'm also also a winner.
Shut up, Richard. People only know who you are because of Futurama.
You want to go, Barack? I'll beat you in anything. Bully, sounds like we've got a good old-fashioned game of digital fisticuffs.
And I have just the game for you guys to duke it out in. The sponsor for today's episode, Warpath. Now, we've talked a lot about random facts of history, but it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to actually experience it. And with Warpath, you can...
Yeah, no. Not taking anything there.
PC, you not only get to take part in this massive competition, you can also win yourself in-game rewards and physical cash. Cash money in your pocket. Put those Benjamins in your bank. Benjamin who root smarts. So download the game using the link in the description, start strategizing, and climb those rankings to be in for a chance to win that huge cash. In the meantime, remember, it's all just a theory. A game theory.
Yep, that was something. So, this guy would technically be the best gamer. I can see it. His skills are freaking broken, to be honest. It's so unfair. Learning 4 languages at his time, being able to write with both hands. I barely know anyone that can do that. Seeing someone play a sport with both sides, both hands, both dominant and least dominant forms of their body. Yeah, I've seen that. Seen someone throw, that was a left-hand throw, and catch with a right and their left. Seen soccer players use both. Seeing one person do both of these at the same time and play a little football and basketball and do it perfectly. Actually, writing, they were awful at doing that bit. So to see someone actually write perfectly in another language while writing in another in an opposite or different language is freaking broken as heck. Jeez. That's going above any tier of skill, to be honest. Jeez. Guy's a freaking goat. Jeez. He's the goat of video games, maybe. If he was still here and playing video games. Anyway, hope you'll enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. Tell me about these skills this one president has, because in all honesty, it's freaking broken. I mean, he even became president while not being nominated at the beginning or doing any campaign or anything like that. He was just there and got voted immediately by the other candidates. That, you gotta admit, you're doing something right if that's gonna be happening to you. But yeah, with all this said, hope you'll enjoy. See you all next time. Bye.